One. Welcome back to Two C's with a pod, playoff edition.
That's right.
It's the middle
face.
Playoffs. Playoffs. So I got something fun for you. This is because, frankly, I messed up. I mean, I think there's really no two ways about it. After the Steelers appeared to lose, I started sending out some texts saying that the Chiefs had locked up the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
That was in fact false.
I got one of those.
Yeah. So there's 27 ways they can do it. But as of today, the recording of this, Christmas Eve. Up. By the way, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
Can we say that?
Yes.
Merry Christmas. Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure, buddy.
Good God. I know.
Right.
I do try. Well, I'm not even going there. This is a football episode.
We're sticking to sports, pal.
Damn and
what's the one thing we will not do on this episode? What will we not be discussing? What story will we not tell?
Oh, what was
we
the story?
We will not tell the Drew Lock pop.
Oh, the Drew Lock.
We refuse to do
exactly.
that.
No, see, I already forgot it. Yeah. I literally blocked it out.
Yeah, we're not doing
because I have no intention of telling that story of how he stole pop.
Again, no. Local business, still pop after he had that NFL money. But we're not talking about that.
No.
Today it's all about the playoffs here.
And I don't see the Broncos on this particular screen you have pulled up right now as a playoff team. Is that
no? They're on here. They're on here.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they're on here, and we're going to get to them.
Okay. Good.
There's some scenarios here at play.
All the other teams.
No. I mean, look right here, Matt. Look, see right there, Broncos at Chargers. See the matchup. We're going to have to talk about this.
Oh, okay. Well,
all right.
Okay.
So our friends over at ESPN have this playoff machine. It's a real fun thing here. So currently it has what, the current seeds are as of the end of week 15. And we're going to mainly be focusing the AFC, right? Because we're AFC guys. Most of our friends are AFC guys. We got a handful of NFC guys, but for the most part, our people are AFC people. So,
yeah.
So Kansas City's won 13-1, 2 games clear of both Buffalo and Pittsburgh with 2 to play, magic number of 1. So basically any Chiefs loss or any Buffalo or Pittsburgh loss, and the Chiefs have sealed the 1 seed. And then if we have time for fun, we're going to actually see if we can figure out how to not make the Chiefs a 1 seed and see if we can get that 0.01% that of them not being the one.
Well, okay. So they would have to lose to Buffalo. Pittsburgh would have to win 2, but then
it would basically come down to strength of victory, strength of schedule. So it's impossible
because still at that point they would all be 13-3. So it would have to be some sort of tiebreak scenario.
It has to be a 3-way tie.
Yeah.
Because the Chiefs will hold tiebreak over either of those teams.
Oh, okay. So either one of them, they both have to win
individually. The Chiefs will hold tiebreaker over each of them.
Sure.
But
there's some sort of weird. So somehow, like if
it's a strength. It becomes a strength of schedule, strength of victory.
If somehow the Jets beat Cleveland or some nonsense, or like if something would happen where then it would flip so it goes that deep.
Yeah. So actually, what ends up happening right now is Pittsburgh has played a weak schedule.
Sure.
Because they played the NFC East. The Chiefs have played a relatively strong schedule because they played the New Orleans and the New Orleans and Tampa Bay and those teams, right? And so they have beaten those teams.
Also some good AFC teams. Baltimore.
They beat Miami,
Buffalo.
So these teams, they beat Miami. So now what you want is the teams that you beat, you want them to win.
Sure.
Because you want your strength of victory to go up in order for this tiebreak to lose. But it has something to do with, so like for us, we would want the NFC East teams to continue to lose, reducing any strength of victory that the Steelers would have. So,
wowzers.
All right. Now, what we've got here, we've got a little drop down up here. So what this is we can, and we'll eventually do this, but we'll go through here. We can select the matchups, and it will update these playoff scenarios based on winners and losers in week 16 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got some defaults here of win percentage. So right now, we could go through here and say, all right, if the team with the higher win percentage wins these games in week 15 and 16, what would the playoffs look like?
Mm-hmm.
So just as an example, I'm going to click this. So first thing we see is that Miami falls out. And so Miami falls out and Baltimore jumps all the way up to the 5 seed. And then if we selected, we say, okay, all the home teams are going to win. So now Baltimore is going to be your 7. Again, Miami's going to fall out of this. Tennessee is going to fall to your 6. Indianapolis is going to be your AFC.
But the 1 and 2 stays.
Yeah, the 1 and 2 are going to stay because the Chiefs would be 15 and 1. The Buffalo would fall to 12 and 4. So, and then like if you said, okay, all the away teams are going to win. Okay, well, Kansas City falls to 13 and 3. Again, Miami's in at this point. Baltimore is not. Indianapolis slips all the way down to the 7. Pittsburgh and Cleveland are 3-6. And then
Baltimore plays the Giants this
week. Yeah. And so like if you picked like offensive rank, so the higher offensive team is going to win. Look, we got our first Annika sighting. There she is. She's in.
Hi, Annika.
Got a passive wave today.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty laid back myself today.
Yeah. So then we've got so like in this, if you just have your offensive rank, you end up with Buffalo and Baltimore as a 2-7 matchup. Cleveland.
That's interesting. Buffalo.
Cleveland wins the AFC North. Pittsburgh falls to the 6. Tennessee and so you get 2 divisional matchups here.
I don't think Buffalo wants to play Baltimore in the first round. And
then finally on our pre-selected, if you use it by defensive rank, so I guess the better defensive team would win.
Defense wins championships, they say.
It does. It really does. You would see that you've got number 2 seed Pittsburgh playing 7 seed Indianapolis.
That's the only scenario where Buffalo drops out of the 2nd seed.
Yeah, with these. Yeah, Buffalo would fall to 3, play number 6 seed Cleveland. And then you would get a 4-5 matchup of Tennessee and Baltimore.
Who's Buffalo play this week? New England.
Buffalo this week.
New England's a tough out still. Anyway.
Right. So, yeah, and that one, it would actually have New England winning that game. But, all right, so let's make this fun. All right, that was all the default. Let's you and I go through here. And we're gonna pick these matchups over the next, and we're gonna see where this thing ends up after you and I make our selections, and just see where we land, and then we'll maybe talk a little bit about the playoffs. All right. All right. So NFC matchup: Minnesota at New Orleans. So New Orleans is right now 10 and 4. Kind of need to win out in order to try to get that 1 seed. Minnesota's playing for their life. Who do you like in this one? Because right now Minnesota's projected out. New Orleans is projected as a 2 seed.
What's Minnesota's record? I didn't know that record was that bad. Like, where's their record at?
Well, so if you look in the NFC, the 7 seed right now is an 8-6 team.
Right.
You know, in the AFC, the 7 seed is a 9-5 team. So in the AFC, you're probably going to need to get to 10, potentially even 11 wins to get in. I think in the NFC, outside of the NFC East winner, I think you're probably going to have to be a 9-win team. Their 7 seed is probably going to be a 9-win team. I think that Minnesota is sitting at 8-6, just outside, like lost a tiebreaker.
I'll tell you, I did not love the way New Orleans looked overall, even though
let me take that back. Minnesota's 6-8.
Yeah, it's a tough. I still think that's a tough out there for New Orleans. I did not love how they looked. I didn't love how Drew Brees looked. I didn't love.
So you like
I
Dalvin
mean,
Cook? You like Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins? You like that
I don't
offensive
know.
firepower that Minnesota has?
I don't know. I don't know. New Orleans got a pretty good defense too. I'll say New Orleans
All
probably.
right.
It makes more sense.
All right. Tampa at Detroit. I think that's a pretty. We're going to go Tampa on
Yeah,
that one.
I guess.
San Francisco at Arizona. Wait, is San Francisco actually at home in this game? San
No.
Francisco's playing in their home away from home.
Right.
So they will play yet another game in
Right.
Phoenix. I'm going to take the Cardinals on this one.
Yeah, same.
Fun little matchup here. This one is I'm going to call this an eliminator matchup. Week 16, the Miami Dolphins at Oakland.
I think the Dolphins.
You're going to take the Dolphins.
Yeah.
All right. Cleveland at Jets. Jets got their win. Are they starting a winning streak to end the season, or is Baker Mayfield stay?
Browns are overrated a little bit, but I keep it the Browns.
Are they ripe for an upset?
No.
They've been hot, dude. I'm gonna go in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Okay, New York Jets at Baltimore. We can make this a tie if we want. Shout out to our good brother, Great Went here.
That's right. Baltimore, yeah.
All right. Here's a fun one. Indianapolis at Pittsburgh. So possible preview here. Like if the playoffs were to start today, this is the matchup.
Let's go. I think Pittsburgh makes a comeback.
All right. Something that doesn't necessarily matter, although it could down the road. This is where we were talking about that strength of victory. So you got Cincinnati at Houston. If it were to come down to strength of victory, you would want to see the Chiefs. If you're a Chiefs fan, you want to see Houston win this game to get a better winning percentage. So Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh last week. Was that their Super Bowl, or did they ride it? Where are you going here?
I got Houston.
All right. Bears at Jaguars. So right now, Chicago is sitting at 7-7, and they would need. We have Arizona winning. All right.
I got no love for the Jaguars, even though I got also no love for the Bears or Mitch Trubisky or their.
Are we just gonna be on the Chiefs here? We'll just take the Chiefs.
I think the Chiefs are gonna. Yes, I do. Okay. I mean, honestly, I think it could be probably again a game.
Yeah, I mean, we're just randomly picking here. We're not putting a lot of analysis in.
No.
Denver at Chargers. At Living the Dream is not happy with you right now.
I'm sorry, but I just can't. I mean, I don't know. I like Herbert coming back, and they in that game against the Oakland last week. Like, I don't know. I have more love. I have more faith in San Diego's offense than I do Denver's right now, and I think both of them have about an equal defense.
Carolina at the WTF.
I'm gonna go for the WTF. I'm good. I'm kind of weirdly rooting for them, not for their god awful owner.
Did you see they had two stories on the front page of ESPN today? The Dan Snyder's being extorted by one of the minority owners trying to get him to sell the team, and Dwayne Haskins was stripped of his captaincy for, I believe. I might be getting him and James Harden confused, but I think they both may have done the same thing. He was at a strip club without a mask on.
Oopsies.
And I know that James Harden, I think, did the same thing, but
part of me goes like, why not have a mask on at a strip club? Like, part of me goes, all this makes a lot of sense, like no one really loves that stripper smell. No one. And number two, like, then no one really knows it's you, right? I mean, there's a level of like anonymity you can then go with it, not that I've thought about it. I think
it had something to do with his lady's birthday party or something like that. So All right. In the Who Gives a Shit Bowl, we got the Eagles at Cowboys.
That is the Cowboys. I got no. The Eagles are sinking ship.
Been playing better with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback. Now, in a massive playoff scenario game, we got the Rams of Los Angeles,
right,
against the Seahawks of Seattle.
Now, I like the Seahawks here, personally.
Okay, so Seattle wins this game. I do believe it clinches the division for them. If the Rams were to win, they're going to flip-flop. So right now they're 3-6. Seattle's a 3.
Hell of a deal.
Rams would be the 6. So, all right.
I go Seahawks here. I have way more faith in them. It's a good matchup here. This game, yeah.
The Tennessee Derrick Henrys.
Yeah. Tannehill's played pretty damn well.
At the Green Bay Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Who you like here? This one's an interesting one.
I know. I'm curious. I think it could be like a blowout either way. Does that make sense? Like
really?
If Tennessee, I think Tennessee could just manhandle them and run all over them, and it ends up being like 40-14 Tennessee. But I also could see it being the exact opposite, where Green Bay puts up a lot of points early and Tennessee can't really do what they want to do, and it ends up being, again, 40-14, the total flip-flop. I think I ultimately go Green Bay here, just because of the home field, honestly.
You like Lambeau. All right. Does Buffalo get by New England?
I do think this is an interesting matchup, and this is the one that I would go like, is there a chance of a spoiler or some sort of like, upset here? I do at New England. I think it's over for New England, but I think that Belichick in particular, and a lot of those players have a lot of pride. They're going to want to beat them anyway and kind of prove a point a little bit and kind of screw them up. I mean, I don't know. Are you not comfortable picking New England here? I mean, I don't know. Where do you feel?
I would probably go Buffalo on this one. I just
go for it. I'm not a huge.
I think that there's a I think that that home crowd up there is going to be rabid, but I think that Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are like, they're clicking right now.
No, I know for sure. I just think that I think New England, in some ways it almost is like their Super Bowl, because it's a way for them to kind of spoil something for them, in a way, like, and then the division's over, so they're almost playing for nothing. And I think Belichick, and his season's over. I don't know. Like, to me, he's a pretty dangerous guy in that scenario. You don't see him in that scenario very often. So it'll be curious, like, to see how he coaches it and how he plays it out. But I could see him just being like really ruthless, So and, like, you don't pulling out all the trick plays and all the shit to just try to beat Buffalo just out of spite.
So you don't think that he is a play for draft picks type guy?
No. I don't. Here's what I would tell you. I can guarantee you that he is I let me draft anywhere and it doesn't matter. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I think in his head, in his ego, is going to tell him that no, he's going to want to win every day, every second, every play. Good or bad. I mean, I don't love him. I think he's a little bit overrated. I think he, I don't love the cheating stuff, and all that, but I also think he's as like cold-blooded as they come when it comes to these kind of scenarios, where I mean, do you see his team like rolling over either? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see that. You know what I mean? Like, I
guess my thing is I just don't see him having
talent. I mean,
I just think it's a talent deficit right now with them.
Sure.
So I guess that's kind of where I'm at on it.
Right.
I
get it. No. Buffalo's. I mean, Buffalo's been hot. I'm personally, where I'm at is I would like to see it be Kansas City and Buffalo in the championship game. And if that's the case, then I would, Now, I'll obviously want the Chiefs to win, and but I won't be super bummed if Buffalo wins. Everyone else would be like, yeah, I could screw them.
Yeah. Well, so today, after we did our picks, so after week 16, after we did our selections, we lost. So the top 5 stayed the same. Kansas City, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Tennessee, Cleveland stayed the same. Miami fell from 6 to 7. Indianapolis fell out, and Baltimore came in.
Right. Wait, hold on. In the scenario that's on there right now?
Yeah, that we just, after we made our selections.
Okay. Does it show Baltimore in the 7 hole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we brought Baltimore in.
And Miami's in the 6, though. Right. So it goes Miami 6, Baltimore 7. Okay.
Yeah. So Miami went up a spot.
Right. Okay.
Baltimore came in, Indianapolis fell out. Because now, if we were to flip-flop that game, now we get...
It's a huge game.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh would drop from the 3 to the 4.
I'm just curious, where are you on that game? You felt good picking Pittsburgh?
I think Indianapolis wins that game. Pittsburgh just seems to be reeling.
Yeah, but Indianapolis, I mean, again,
and with us having
realize the person you're betting your money on.
Oh,
right?
I know. The interesting thing is with the way that we picked this, we also we flip-flopped Tennessee from winning that division now to from being the 4 seed, they're now going to fall into the 6. Cleveland's going to be the 5 still, so Cleveland's staying put, but they have a new opponent. They get Pittsburgh as their opponent.
They wouldn't love that.
So I don't know if you're Cleveland, do you want Pittsburgh or do you want Tennessee?
Man, it's tough. I mean, I think they beat Tennessee earlier, didn't they? But they lost to Pittsburgh at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
and they got smoked by Pittsburgh. But
when we get to the end here, because they've got them week 17 too. So
that's
Miami stays in with.
It'll be curious, and this all changes to a level of this is what's interesting, looking at it this week, because next week may be pointless because it may be so settled in that some teams don't play their starters. You know what I mean? I would love for it to be the Chiefs. I would love to see it's not Matt Moore now. It's who's the kid that got hurt last year that's our backup now, played for Miami. I don't even want to know his name because, I only want to see him, obviously, when Jesus, I can't even remember his name now.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is
he came in this year at some point. He played a snap or two this year. But I'm just saying, I hope we see him in week 17, honestly, as a Chiefs fan, because I hope it doesn't matter. And I hope they just rest Mahomes, because I think Mahomes is a kid that he could take as many weeks as you want off. He could take 7 weeks off.
Yeah, see, I don't love the rest. I say you play him. So the interesting thing too would be is if we flip that Tennessee game, Tennessee becomes a 4-5 against Cleveland. Then you've got right back at the Indianapolis at Pittsburgh, and then Miami is still in.
To me, that Pittsburgh Colts game is much more of a 50-50 than that Tennessee Green Bay game.
Yeah.
I just don't. That's a tough haul. Now, again, if it was flip-flopped in where it was, and again, I know no home fans matters, but there's a level of honestly, it may be worse. For what you don't get advantage-wise of being at home with the fans, you get in comfort of not traveling and dealing with this nightmare of when you
look at all of these teams, the ones that have, I'd say it's more of a road game disadvantage than a home field advantage.
Exactly.
And I look at the NFC and I say, do I trust New Orleans, a dome team? First of all, beating Arizona, and then secondly, going to Green Bay to win. I don't like that.
No, I don't. I did not love what I saw out of New Orleans against us personally.
So,
and I know
I'm just talking about them going up into the weather, right?
No,
Whereas
no doubt.
in the AFC, the only team really that we have in now is Miami. Miami is a weather team. I mean, Buffalo coming to Kansas City, not an issue. Pittsburgh coming to Kansas City, not a weather
It would be
issue.
interesting to see what Miami look like though in the weather, because again, I just think they're such a unique and different kind of team now with Tua, and they're very Lamar Jackson-ish, like they're just going to be. So it would be interesting to see if they had such a disadvantage in the weather the way they're built right now.
All right. So as we move to week 17, we have Buffalo at 12-3, Pittsburgh at 12-3, Tennessee at 10-5, Cleveland at 11-4.
Chad Henne, by the way, Chad Henne. It just popped in my head. I'm like, yes.
Miami at 10-5, and then Baltimore at 10-5 in the AFC. So we would have Miami at Buffalo. Seemingly, Buffalo perhaps would need to win this game to solidify their 2 seed. Miami would need to win this game to solidify being in. So we might get our taste of Miami in a cold weather game. I'm going to go Buffalo here.
Yeah, probably.
Jets and Pats, doesn't matter. We'll go Pats.
Miami should put Fitzpatrick in that game just because. See what happens.
Just to mess with him.
I'm just curious, like, would he play better in that scenario? I don't know.
All right, Baltimore at Cincinnati.
It'd be interesting to see what happens with Baltimore, but I imagine they'll finish strong.
I like Baltimore in that game.
Well, yeah,
as long as we can get, as long as we can make sure Lamar Jackson doesn't have the poopies.
Oh man, I hate it when that happens. That sucks though, man. That is a tough scenario.
So Pittsburgh has to go into Cleveland. I am bullish on the Browns here. I like the Browns in this one.
Go for it. I'm not bullish anywhere, but I've never been bullish on the Browns. So,
the interesting thing is it would not matter for the division. Yeah, didn't move anything in the division. Tennessee at Houston. I'm be on the Titans on that one. I think they're going to need to win there just to. They're going to need to win there just to get the division. Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Indianapolis needs a win. Let's be honest, Jacksonville's playing for Trevor Lawrence at this point.
100%.
So I'm going to go Indy there. Kansas City Chargers at Kansas City. It doesn't matter in a game that doesn't matter. So
the Chargers will still jack it up though. I think the Chiefs, because I think even the Chad Henne led Chiefs would give them a game.
Yeah, the interesting thing is they would be coming into that game at 5-9, possibly 6-9. Do they want to be a 5-11 team with a better draft pick, or, I don't think. But that's the thing. I think that's something that fans talk about. I don't think the players are playing for jobs, man. Like the players aren't going to tank anything.
No.
So
the kid quarterback wants to, he wants to get rookie of the year. I mean, there's a lot of things on the line for him in some way still.
Cowboys and Giants. I'll take the Giants.
Sure.
Washington at Philly.
I'd take Washington here. I have no love for Philly.
Green Bay at Chicago. Wow. So that would be an interesting one. I think Chicago needs to win out to have any chance. I don't know if them winning would get them in. I think if they're
trash. Green Bay kills them.
All right.
Green Bay by 70.
I like Minnesota over the Lions. Did you hear the Lions coaching situation this week?
No.
Half their coaches are out on COVID. They've got a guy, their interim coach is on COVID. So they've got an interim coach. And the guy that's calling their offensive plays has never called plays at any level.
Oops.
So watch him come out, put up 70.
They probably will. Or you're going to see a lot of, I thought you were going to do one of these. I thought you were just run real fast straight. And then, about 5 yards out, take a right. You know what they'll have? They'll have like the old school flag football, plays where, hey, you're pink. I'm going to be pink this one. And you run the pink route. I'm going to run the yellow route. You run the red route.
Man, I'm tired of running these 9 routes. I'm tired of running the deep. You just go deep. Go deep.
Yeah, exactly.
You get open.
That's right. Yeah, just make plays. That's
All
all
right,
you got to do.
I'm gonna go
They
with
play these players a lot of money. Like, why
Yeah,
do
they
they need
just
to
go-
just tell them
yeah,
everything what to do? Just go out there and win.
get open. Just get open. Do we like New
Champion
Orleans
today.
over Carolina? I'm gonna go New Orleans there.
Sure.
I like Tom Brady over the doo-doo Falcons in Week 17.
You're a Tom Brady guy, but
I do like Tom Brady.
guy's a clown.
Did you see his? Did you see his
Yeah,
tweet
that
this
AFC.
week?
Yeah, whatever that. I didn't super understand that playoff. Yeah, I didn't super get it.
Tony Dungy said that he was the 6th hardest quarterback that he had to game plan against.
Oh,
That was a tweet underneath it, and then he posted that picture. But Tony Dungy wasn't the coach of the Colts then, so I don't know. He's pretty subtle. He's got a pretty good subtle social media game.
He's fine. Yeah, no. He's fine. Whatever. I don't.
Raiders, Broncos.
Raiders.
Cardinals and Rams. This is a playoff seeding. And the way we have it, this is a playoff seeding matchup.
I go Cardinals. I have no love for the Rams.
And then Seattle at San Francisco. It's always a bloodbath with those two, but I just don't think San Francisco's got any. Those guys are going to be so ready. Those guys are going to be so ready to get home. They're going to just be forfeit.
Exactly.
Just done, so. All right. So after this, what have we moved anything? KC stays at the 1.
Indy slides in.
Buffalo goes to 2. Pittsburgh is the 3. Tennessee. So 4. We haven't moved a thing. Cleveland's 5. Baltimore's in at 6.
And Indy at 7.
Indy's at 7. Miami's out. Oh, and then in the NFC, Green Bay stays 1. New Orleans, Seattle, WTF. Tampa is the 5. Arizona is this. Yeah, see, we didn't move any. The teams all stayed the same. We didn't move anything in the NFC. We just shuffled the Rams, Bucks, and Cardinals around. Nice. In the AFC,
the WTF wouldn't it would be the WFT, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I like to call them the
WTF.
I
wasn't sure if that
the WTF. Yeah,
I like that better. You're right. 8-8. At least that'd get them to 8-8.
Get them to 8-8. Get them 500
playoff team.
Yeah. All right. So let's say this holds. So in the AFC, you would have the 2 seed Buffalo playing the 7 seed Indianapolis. Would you go Indy there or Buffalo?
No.
You're going to go Buffalo?
Buffalo in a stampede.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Thank you.
Baltimore go into Pittsburgh and win?
Yes.
And so you know what that would mean, right?
Baltimore comes here.
That brings Baltimore here.
It's fine. I'm not nervous about that at all.
And then I don't love it.
I know.
Lamar Jackson's scary.
He is.
5 Cleveland at 4 Tennessee.
Tennessee in a Titanic win.
So then you would have Baltimore at Kansas City, Tennessee at Buffalo. Where are you going on those?
That feels right to me. Kansas City. I don't think if I had to really put money on it in these scenarios, I would say that Tennessee, it could easily be a repeat of the AFC Championship game again. That it could easily be Kansas City, Tennessee. I could see Tennessee beating Buffalo. I want Buffalo to win, but I think Tennessee might.
So you would go KC back to
the AFC
KC. So you got a rematch.
I'll pick Tennessee. Yes, I'll pick Tennessee because I want Buffalo, and maybe by me picking Tennessee, that
Okay.
will then make it be Buffalo.
In the are the Rams capable of going and beating the Saints? I'm gonna say yes. I think that's a
I like it.
possibility.
I like it. I'm down with
You
it.
can get
Let's
an
put it.
upset there.
Let's get crazy.
Arizona at Seattle. I'm gonna take the. I like the Seahawks in that one.
I do too. I don't think Arizona seems like 1 year away type team.
And then can Tampa travel up to our nation's capital and beat the WTF?
Washington, the football.
Washington football.
Okay, got it. I hate to say it, but I just don't see Washington beating Tampa Bay. I'll say Tampa because I want Washington, but
Okay.
I'll do the reverse jinx again, deal. But I also think like Tampa is probably better than Washington, like not even probably, like quite a bit better.
So LA has to go to Green Bay. Any chance the Lambs beat the Pack there? No. So you're going Green
Nah,
Bay.
I mean, again, just an absolute.
And then Tampa has to travel cross country all the way up to Seattle.
They get smoked.
So
Seattle wins big.
So now we got Seattle versus Green Bay, Tennessee versus KC. Where are you going there?
Seattle. I think it's Seattle and Kansas City.
KC versus Seattle.
I really think part of me goes like, I know Seattle's kind of come back to the pack a little bit, and the Chiefs have stayed pretty steady, but like that to me is the overall two best like complete teams in the league. Like and early on you saw it when they needed to show it. I think Seattle has kind of had their moments where I don't know, they've been shaky, but I like Seattle.
Yeah, I think the way I mean the Raiders did it, the Chargers almost did it, but the way that New Orleans also did it for a bit, but I think the way that you got to beat the Chiefs is you're going to have to just get continuous pressure, and then you've got to run the ball. The problem with New Orleans, the way that they did it, is they couldn't get out and build that lead that they needed. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think that the other thing you see is those pass rushes slow down, and then the Chiefs are able to make those plays.
100%.
And the Chiefs have been closing. They've been closing out games.
It happened in the Super Bowl is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Super Bowl was a perfect example of a team just shooting its wad. I mean, I hate to use that frame, but like for 3 quarters, and then eventually they just could not. You can't, and that's where the Chiefs get you eventually. I mean, the pressure becomes you can't resist it for 4 quarters. And like very few teams have been able to pull it off, and it takes a once in a lifetime type game out of every team to do it.
Well, do you want to see if we can figure out how the Chiefs are not the 1 seed? Let's see if we can go through here and pick some games to make the Chiefs not the 1. So what we have to do is we have to increase the strength of victory for Buffalo and Pittsburgh and decrease it for Kansas City. So, for example, Miami at Buffalo, that means nothing to the Chiefs because they beat both of those teams. However, Buffalo has to win out, so we have to pick Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Jets and actually, let's go back here. So we would have to, in Miami and New Orleans, we would have to go with, Minnesota would have to win. Tampa at Detroit, we would need Detroit to win. San Francisco at the Cardinals.
Shouldn't matter.
Well, it could from
Baltimore.
We're going to go with San Francisco. Miami and the Raiders does not matter because the Chiefs beat both of those teams.
Well, they're technically tied, wouldn't they be? Well, one
yeah,
and
but
one
the
against
Chiefs
the Raiders.
beat both of the teams, so
Okay.
yeah. So, however, it's going to give you a win and a loss against a same thing. Let's see. The Jets would need to beat Cleveland because you'd want to. No, Cleveland would need to beat the Jets because you need to decrease. The Giants would need to beat Baltimore. Pittsburgh has to win out. The Bengals would need to beat Houston. Bears and Jags, I don't think that matters. Obviously, the Chiefs would have to lose. Broncos, Chargers doesn't matter. Carolina would have to lose to Washington. Let's see. Dallas and the Giants, I don't think that matters. I don't think the Rams and Seahawks matters. Tennessee at Green Bay. I think we would need Green Bay, and then of course Buffalo has to win.
This is like some election night. What's that stuff? Yeah. What's the guy, the election guy that was on there? This is what he does. Kornacki. Yes, Kornacki. Yeah. You're doing some Kornacki.
I'm doing some Kornacki here.
If the counties in Detroit come in the way we expect them to here.
Okay, so Buffalo and Pittsburgh have to win out. Let's see. The Jets and Patriots would not matter because you hold a victory over both of them. You need the Bengals to beat Baltimore because
I feel like after all this, it's still not going to work.
It's probably not going to work. And then we're going to have Jacksonville. Of course, the Chiefs have to lose. Oh, I did it.
Amazing. There goes Pittsburgh. So that's all you needed.
The one seed.
Chiefs to lose. There you go.
There it was. Pittsburgh's now the 1 seed. Well, hold on. Let's get in here.
Because if you change some of this might change it, right?
Yeah. So Giants and Cowboys, I don't think that matters. Let's see. Then we would probably need. What would happen if we picked Washington? No, that doesn't. Green Bay, Minnesota, Carolina, and New Orleans doesn't matter. You've lost to them, so you would want them to win. There it is. We did it.
Yes.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it,
this
guys.
Is terrible. This is like a not good thing, though. I don't know if we should make this come into
this is
our
hilarious.
whole like speak it into existence thing. We got to be careful with that. But
so tell me the likelihood that
Detroit. Well, the Detroit beating.
Well, I'm gonna start flipping some of these. Okay, so Detroit over Tampa. Doesn't look like it matters. Let's see. What if Miami?
Ooh, then we play the Raiders in the first week.
Yeah, if the Raiders beat Miami, let's see. Baltimore beats the Giants. We would win that. Obviously. What if? Have to figure out the game to flip it back. What if? Let's see. What if Tennessee beats?
No? Man, it must be on week 17 stuff. Oh, there it was.
If the Patriots beat Buffalo. Oh, okay, because it's got to be the three-way tie.
Yeah, it's all that. Yeah. So it really comes down to, in some ways, like the biggest part of the scenario is we have to lose out. They have to win out, both of them. And then it gets interesting. So I'm curious, if you change, so the interesting thing would be go in and change us as losing out, them losing, them
We have to
winning.
lose out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if you put it as us losing out, them winning in, and then make no, like what does it look like
Oh,
then?
gotcha.
You
Okay.
see what I'm saying? Like
All right.
if you said we
Okay, so
lose,
Pittsburgh
they
would
win.
win, Buffalo would win. Where's Buffalo? Okay. And then
Chiefs have to lose. Yeah.
Chiefs have to lose there. And then Falcons, Patriots. No, they have to win that.
Yeah, they have to win that, and they have to win. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so just straight up, 13-3, 13-3 doesn't get there.
It doesn't get there. So there is some there. It has to be some sort of weird mix of when you get in here, then the game that tips it over would be. Because it did it go in week 16? Did it turn, or did
No,
it
it was
turn
late
17?
week 17.
Oh, okay, so that's what it's going to take. I mean, it's got to take some sort of ridiculous scenarios.
Yeah, so it's basically you got to get like Minnesota upsets.
And it's the
New
NFL
Orleans.
never works that way. I mean, it just never, like, and I mean, I think both teams could easily lose. And here's the other piece. I mean, also, again, the minute we win next week, part of them that all this scenario, or this week, all this scenario changes, and they're sitting everybody, and you know what I mean, like it's over.
Yeah.
So really, in some ways, week 17, all these week 17 scenarios mean nothing if the week 16 scenarios obviously don't plan out. There you go, right there, where to flip right there.
Yeah, it was. Oh, well, that's because we won. Houston.
There you go.
Houston losing to Cincinnati along with.
No, Houston beating Cincinnati, though. Isn't that Houston beating Cincinnati?
Houston beating Cincinnati.
The Giants have to beat the Ravens. So there you go. You just changed that right there, by the way. Did you see that? You just changed the Giants and the Ravens game, and it put us back as a – so go back to Houston. No, yeah, go back to Houston. Have Houston winning, and then there you go, right there. You see what I'm saying? So if you change that game, now go back to Giants winning. That switches it. Oh, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. It has to be – but that scenario does, though, because if you go back here and you go back to, like – any of those other ones, this is funny,
yeah, because
really interesting.
What if Tennessee wins here?
Yeah, see, there you go, switches this out.
Yeah, so also Tennessee winning now didn't matter. So
see, that's the other piece.
Yeah, so if Tennessee wins, then Cincinnati
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I guess it a lot of it has to do with
because each win topples, changes each ratio, each scenario, right? Because each win, each loss, because now all of a sudden everybody's who beat that team who lost, their strength of schedule went down.
Right.
Everybody else's, all of a sudden ticked up a little bit, who beat the team that won, or whatever. So it's it's interesting how it gets down to that. In some ways, honestly, like, and I don't know how you avoid it, but it is interesting that it comes all the way down to that kind of stuff. And in a league that's got so much money involved in it and stuff and everything, it would come down to, like, they need to figure out scenario.
So look, so here's a one. If Minnesota beats New Orleans,
right?
Pittsburgh's a 1, Chiefs are a 2, Buffalo's a 3. If New Orleans wins, Kansas City, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Even with us being 13-3 and everything out. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I mean, the easiest thing to do is for the Chiefs to just win Sunday, lock that up, call it good, and
exactly.
And be done with it. But yeah, man, I'm surprised that we got it flipped.
Amazing. We did it.
You want to see?
But we don't want to do it. We don't want to see that happen.
No, we don't want to do that. So you want to see how we can get New Orleans as the 1? Okay, so New Orleans has to win. Obviously Tennessee week 15.
It's a lot less of a scenario because technically New Orleans could get a better record by the end of this.
Yeah, and then Green Bay would have to lose out. And then the Saints would have to win out. So, which is
That's all it is, really. That's the
Yeah.
easiest scenario right there for them, which is highly unlikely. Although the Saints are definitely favorites, but the Packers are going to be favorites in all their games too. I mean, where does that put Green makes Green Bay the 3rd seed by the end
Well,
of it?
I've got to do something with Seattle here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
If they win, then Seattle wins out.
yeah, but even if
I think it's very important.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing, because if you have a 3-way tie, and again it goes down to you have a 3-way tie between New Orleans, Seattle, and Green Bay. It's got Green Bay as the 3rd seed, but we haven't done any other games.
changes.
But yeah, it's interesting to just see how this thing will move.
Yeah.
Over the next
lot of money on the line for some very thin margin of errors, and different scenario. It's really interesting.
Well, buddy, we'll see how close we are. I'm going to keep our notes on this one.
Yeah, we should. We've done pretty well in predictive oral situations. I feel like we've done pretty well. We did good on the election thing. Maybe we'll do good on this. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe if
people start coming to us as a way to make bet, like a betting show by the end of this.
Yeah. Do you think so on our Kansas City versus Seattle Super Bowl, do we go Chiefs back to back?
I personally do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, to me, I'm comfortable with doing that now. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I may be wrong, and I'm okay with whatever. I would never do that last year, because it was just too much for me to say that they would win, and now that they've done it, I mean, it's every game reminds me that they still have the best player, and they probably have the best coaching staff overall right now in the game, from top to bottom. So I just don't see how they're not a heavy favorite, right?
Yeah.
Even against Seattle, but I do think Seattle's it's a tough matchup. I think it's a tougher matchup than Green Bay, honestly, personally. And then that's why I picked Seattle to go through, because I just don't. I see. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are really left to be shaken out this week. I mean, we just kind of went through and just started clicking buttons.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I think we've got a pretty good idea on, a lot of these games, Miami and Raiders, that's kind of a toss up. But it's important.
Man, I have no faith in Oakland at all, or whatever, Las Vegas, Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Los Angeles.
But yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, there's still a lot, riding on the table. I mean, we haven't.
I think if it would be hard for me to make a bet on that New England Buffalo game, like we talked about too, because I really think that could be a game that Buffalo struggles more than they should, against an inferior talented team, because New England's hey, this is our last game where it really matters and means something. Screw Buffalo. They took our division away from us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of those divisional games that I would be nervous about, if I was a betting man, which I am not.
Are you a betting man?
No. I lasted in that DraftKings league for about 4 weeks, right? And I was like, no. Those are the lowest stakes possible. You know what I mean? So no, I am not in any way, not on sports. I might do some roulette or go to the casino, play some poker, but I am definitely not going to bet on sports anytime soon. No desire to. In fact, I'm terrible at it. When I don't bet, if I play fantasy football, when there's no money on the line, I am actually really solid. But the minute money gets on the line, it all goes bad for me.
Yeah, man, it's I'm with you.
And again, if Matt May is doing well at a particular site in a scenario, then that means I'm going to do the opposite. You trying to drop us out of the 2nd seed?
No, I mean it's I don't know. It looks like there's no way for Buffalo to be the 1 seed.
No, it doesn't.
But I mean, this is such an obscure.
Probably because of that head-to-head loss with us. Is that the only head-to-head matchups?
No, I mean
between the three
basically,
teams,
yeah. I
they
mean,
have a head-to-head loss to us.
well, so like if you look at if everything that we picked here happens, like I think if you pick that doesn't do anything. Wow, if the Jets beat the Browns,
Oh, there you
with
go.
everything else, Buffalo goes into first.
So there is a possibility.
So yeah, there's like, and then if the Ravens win, they're just going to come in there.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So at 13-3, yeah, the interesting thing is here, man, is at 13-3, I'm really not seeing a whole lot of. No, that would for all of the teams to get to 13-3. I'm not seeing the Chiefs move into the 1 seed. If all the teams are for all 13-3, like I'm not seeing the strength of victory thing. I'm not seeing
play out in our favor.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
I
anything
don't know, though.
that
I
would
thought
move.
when you had it completely just us, all three of us is 13-3, we were still on top, weren't we?
Yeah, but as I've moved through this, I mean, there's nothing in here that, with all these other results, nothing that would move it back at 13-3. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, man, the easiest thing is just, go ahead and win
one football game against the Atlanta Falcons, against the doo-doo.
Yeah, go beat Matt Ryan this Sunday, or yeah.
They don't
right,
even
buddy.
have Mr. Consistency anymore, do they?
They don't even have Mr. Sanu. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna have to roll, dude. We got Christmas stuff to do, so I will.
Big days.
See you next week. We'll see if we spoke this Kansas City versus Seattle Super Bowl.
That'd be amazing. So. Yeah, I think that would be so cool. That would be perfect for me.
All right. Well, we'll talk after. We're gonna have to talk after the Christmas holiday. So, all right, man. Well, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to
same to you,
everybody out there, and we will.
Everybody in the club.
Yeah, that's right, man. We'll catch all of you guys next week.
All right.
All right. Take it easy. Later.
See you, brother.